So the good news, everybody, is here about the fourth stimulus check, and here's a ton of information that you're going to learn in this video. Now, a new bill has been passed. Yes, a new bill has been passed, and the Georgia governor officially signed a bill that actually would deliver additional income tax refunds due to the state's budget surplus. The Department of Revenue confirmed that the bill will actually refund some or all of the 2020 income taxes for 2020 and 2021 filers. According to the Department of Revenue, said single filers receive a $250 check. Single adults with dependents receive a $375 refund, and married couples receive $500. The good news is that Georgians can receive their check in the coming weeks. The Department of Revenue says it will attempt to include the new bill's refund check along with other refunds amounts due on 2021 returns actually. The state will issue a separate refund for Georgians who already filed taxes for 2021 prior to the bill becoming law. And Georgians who filed taxes in 2020 and 2021 by the deadline will receive some along with the regular state refund. It is important to note that the additional action is not necessary for people who already filed their income taxes. The Department of Revenue will actually send the refund to your designated bank account or check. Now here's some more breaking news from the Biden administration. President Biden announced today that his administration is proposing a tweak to the Affordable Care Act to make health insurance more affordable for millions of people in the country. The shift would actually fix what is known as the family glitch, a loophole that has prohibited more than 5 million people from accessing subsidized health plans on the Affordable Care Act marketplaces, even if they don't actually have their other affordable options. Experts have said that it is a huge deal, and it is one of the biggest things that Biden administration can do on its own to expand coverage. The fix, which the Biden administration can make on its own without relying on the Democrats' slim majorities in Congress, represents Biden's latest effort to use the Affordable Care Act as a vehicle to lower costs and improve coverage for people. Biden announced a new change at an event with the former president, who signed the Affordable Care Act into law 12 years ago and was making his first visit to the White House since leaving office in 2017. Now, according to the Treasury Department, there's a new rule. It's expected to go into effect in 2023. A senior Biden administration official told reporters that the timing could be ideal for Democrats, hoping to tout healthcare achievements before the midterms this fall, when Americans will be preparing for the next open enrollment period. During a press conference, President Biden said, once today's proposed rule is finalized, starting next year, working families in America will get the help they need to afford family coverage fully. Biden and Obama prompted the Affordable Care Act, everybody, and it has helped many people gain insurance coverage over the years, as well as the steps that Biden administration has taken to strengthen the law. Both of them have already emphasized the need to push back on Republican efforts to undermine this law. Biden also signed executive orders that piggybacks on 2021 order directing federal agencies to take actions to strengthen the Affordable Care Act and the Affordable Care Act and Medicaid. This order directs agencies to continue doing everything in their power to expand affordable, quality health coverage. Now, Democrats are still hoping to expand health coverage through the Build Back Better Act, which would actually extend expanded subsidies for affordable health care plans and make actually cheap marketplace plans. This will be available for low-income people in states that have not expanded Medicaid. Folks, do you think President Biden can get the job done this year? Tell me your thoughts in the comments.
Oil companies are ripping off the American people by pumping up gas prices across the country. That's the accusation from Democrats on Capitol Hill. In a hearing today, members of the House Energy and Commerce Committee grilled big oil executives, including Exxon, Mobil, BP, Chevron, and Shell. They accused them of price gouging and putting profits before people.
I hear from constituents who tell me how the outrageous gas prices are putting everything out of reach. They tell me that they're struggling to afford the gas just to go to work. I'm curious, on your salaries, do any of you have trouble affording the gas to get to your job? I didn't think so.
The executives defended their companies. They said their price hikes have been following the volatile global energy prices.
The gentleman from Alabama.
Thank you to my colleague from Minnesota.
Gentleman is recognized.
Thank you, sir. I'm sorry. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise in opposition of the previous question so we can amend the rules to immediately consider H.R. 6858, the American Energy Independent from Russia Act. My friends from the other side of the aisle want to talk about restaurants, and restaurants are very important, but understand when families can't put fuel in their tank, they certainly cannot afford to eat in a restaurant. So we've got to get our priorities straight. And yes, we're bringing them up now because we cannot get our bills to the floor. We cannot get our message out. This is the fourth time the Republicans have tried to bring this bill up for a vote, and each time the Democrats have refused. Families are suffering, and the rising fuel crisis is making everything much, much more expensive, including bread, clothes, and everything, including meals at our restaurants. President Biden's so-called solutions do nothing to fix the problem. Tapping into our strategic reserves will do almost nothing to bring prices down. All it does is risk our reserves and endangers our national security. This administration is signaling to the oil and gas companies that they're going to come after them.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. They're all for Marshall. God love you, kiddo. You're the best. Before I began, I want to just point out I was having
So Nancy Pelosi and many other Democrats are now criticizing Republicans for taking credit for the infrastructure spending. Lawmakers have also just agreed to throw in 3 new Social Security changes that will take effect this year. So there is a ton of information about the fourth stimulus payments, folks, that you want to know. So you want to be sure to stay until the end of this video to find out the latest stimulus news.
Carrie Job, you have the voice of an angel, kid. I tell you what, you really do. And that guy sitting next to you.
So everybody, the third stimulus check was sent out to eligible Americans starting back in March of 2021. So now the IRS is saying this. They have now sent out all qualified payments, and they say some families may still be leaving money on the table. The IRS has announced that parents or a child of a child born or added to the family in 2021 is going to be eligible to receive some $1,400 stimulus check, but you are entitled to receive it if you apply for it. The IRS recently started sending out explanatory letters to those who did receive the third payment, which breaks down how much you've gotten and whether you can qualify for more. However, for those who didn't receive a payment this year, there's still a way to go. All you have to do is look at the following questions. Is there a new child in the family, and did the family income change drastically? If the answer is yes to any of these questions, then good thing is that you qualify for it. The IRS has reported that it sent out 175 million third-round payments last year,